Only 10% of Nigerians earn above 100,000 naira monthly. Also, only 5% of Nigerians earn above 500,000 naira monthly. In Nigeria, we have over 200 million people. That means out of 200 million people, only 1 million people are earning over 500,000 naira. So let's compare this to the statistics of rent in Nigeria.
Lawyer, if I get 300 million, I go to stay this house. I could call agent. I say, agent, how far? I did see 25 million for 3 bedroom, 20 million, 15 million for 3 bedroom, for Lekki phase 1, on a quiet since. I'm going to stage a protest. We go protest too. He never touched me since. I didn't bother why everybody they shout. I don't know if that's the thing bad. We need to shout.
So I'm going to throw this question to my co-host. So how do you think Nigerian youths are able to afford rent with their income, with their level of income, based on the statistics that we have, mentioned?
I think based on the statistics, nobody can actually afford rent, especially here in Lagos. That's why a lot of people are adapting to other sources of income, like, self. Some people are self-employed just so they could pay their rent. Because by the time you subtract your transportation, your feeding, and everything from your monthly income is already gone. Like, you barely have enough to even pay your rent. You will have to like go to people to loan money, family members, bank, and sometimes that is not even a reliable source. So I think a lot of Nigerian, not just Nigerian youths, they lean more into self-employment, starting up small businesses that can sustain them and their family and that can also pay their rent. I think that's how they live it.
So from the statistics you cited, it shows that about 85% of Nigerian citizens earn below 100,000 naira. So for them to like get a basic, for them to get like a standard apartment or a standard place to live, they have to like save like entirety of their
Their
salaries.
salary.
They have to save like 100%, like, and you know that's not possible because you have like other things that you have to do with your money.
You
You
have to
have your
settle.
school fees for your children if you have children. You have your normal living expenses, right? So that is not possible, and that is why to see a Nigerian youth now that does not have a side hustle is hard. WhatsApp, that was supposed to be a messaging app, is now even bigger than some markets that we have in Lagos State because almost everybody sample their businesses
Yeah, on WhatsApp.
on WhatsApp, on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram. There is on Snapchat. There is no messaging app now as it stands that people don't do businesses on, right?
Yeah.
And that aside, you see people doing like remote jobs for foreign companies, and it's crazy. They do a
Yeah.
lot to survive. Let's not talk about the illegal
Exactly.
illegal part of it, like the hookup part, the Yahoo stealing, kidnapping. We had the case of that the boy that was kidnapped by his secondary school, I mean primary
Yeah, because
school.
of iPhone XR.
You see things like that. So
Yeah.
it's really crazy.
Yeah. So speaking on the hiking crime rates, do you think the increment of rent is one of the major reasons why there's like a hike in crime rates in Nigeria?
I think generally is the economy. I think Nigerian economy is the main reason why a lot of people, kidnappers, are like pouncing on people, like taking people, killing people just to make money. Is economy generally, and then the prices of rent. I think it adds to it because when you want to look at the amount of money you spend in a month or in a year, most of it goes to your rent. So I think yeah, that is one of the reasons why there is increase in crime rates, not just kidnapping, fraud, Yahoo, whatever they are doing. So I think the prices in rent affects that as well.
Because people are just trying to survive.
Exactly.
I can't even remember the last time people. Let me take myself for instance. I can't remember the last time I actually like leave. these days we're just surviving.
Existing,
We're
that's
just
the word.
existing. Yes, we're just trying to like get past the day and like see the next day and still get past that one to see the
While
next.
paying bills, because you're not just existing, you are paying a lot of bills, and the prices of rent is like half of the bills you pay. Because by the time you've saved up your salaries for like months, you end up with nothing. All your savings goes to your, I'm not talking about people that have money, nepo babies or whatever. I'm talking about the real Nigerian masses, like the people that don't even have good paying job. Let me shock you. There are some Nigerians that earn like 30,000 naira in a month.
Very
Okay.
real.
Yeah,
20,000. There are people that
20,000
earn
naira.
15,000
Like
naira.
I heard, I think one of the girls that I used to withdraw money from, like a POS girl, I asked her, I was like, how much is your boss paying you? She was like 25,000 naira in a month here in Lagos. Then imagine how she's able to raise money to pay for her rent every single year. And the landlords are not even funny.
True.
They are not funny. They don't care about your finances. All they do is to like wake up in the morning, send you a text message on your phone telling you that, oh, we've increased our rent. And then imagine somebody earning about 25,000 naira. How is that person going to meet up? And I'm not talking about a
With the sudden
standard
increment,
a
yeah.
standard apartment. I'm actually talking about like
Substandard
exactly.
apartment.
So it's a lot. I think the prices of rent is one of the reasons why the crime rate in Nigeria is increasing.
Speaking of these landlords, do you think greedy landlords have a part to play in this?
They
Yes,
do, they do a
like
lot.
mad.
They do because somebody somewhere can just most of the landlords, let me not say somebody, can just go to a standard apartment, ask for the price of rent in a standard apartment, and come back to his substandard apartment and increase rents. That's pure greed and
Some
wickedness.
100% increment. I've
Hundred
heard of
percent
And the
100%
increment.
crazy
increment.
thing
And
is they
that's
don't even do like
They
any form of
don't.
renovation,
Yes,
nothing.
no room for negotiation. Nothing. It's
And they'll
just
tell you if you
there.
can't pay,
your
go.
fuck out of my
And there
house.
are a million and one people outside waiting for you to pack out of your house so that you can move in
Yeah.
because people are looking for like places to live every day.
So what do you think can be done? Is it by the government, by people, to find a way around this increment in rent, this hike in prices of just the standard of living in Nigeria? There's been a whole increment. Let's call it 100% increment compared to last year. There's been like a huge increment in the standard of living, and there's hike in prices of rent. How do you think people can cope with that? How do you people can find a way around it? Or what do you think the government can do to, minimize the effect of that on the citizens?
Okay, I think the government. Okay, there was this time someone kind of like started something in that line. There was this time um he announced that agents like he cracked down on agents.
Yeah.
The any like if you see any agents charging way too much, I think he stipulated like a fixed percentage that
Yeah.
every agent
Agent
should
should
charge.
be
Like if they
charging.
should pass or exceed that percentage, that you should report them and all of that. I think they should really really like putting pressure on that rule. They should try and make it like even stronger because most times it's not even the landlords that are doing these things. Most
It's
times
the
it's the
agents.
agents.
Yeah.
Imagine finding an apartment and they tell you that your rent is okay, the rent is 700,000 naira, but full package is 1.5 million naira. So you're paying extra 800,000 naira
Yeah.
for agents and agreement, and the landlord does not even know
Know
about all
about
of
these
these things.
things. Yeah.
All the landlord cares about is
Pay
his
my
rent.
rent. Yeah.
Do you get? So people are really like going through a lot. The government should crack down on those excesses by the
Speaking of which,
house agents.
I saw a video online. The landlord came to the compound. Apparently, he has been collecting 125. The landlord, in his own mind, is collecting 125k from the tenants, but agent is collecting 400 and something, over 400k from everybody. So I feel like the agents too, they are the devils behind this
Yeah.
whole
And then you
whole
see there's
hike.
this girl that came online to she made videos of her journey like house hunting and everything. And then from the video you see her like she found places you see like a standard 3 bedroom apartment that before we used to like pay for highest, you see for 400,000, you see 350, 500 at most. Now we're seeing like standard 3 bedroom apartments for 6 million, 8 million naira. Like, how did we even get to this point? From where? Like, because I still remember when rent used to be 250,000 for 3 rooms and parlor. Standard though, with
Yeah.
everything, like there's water, there's electricity, and all of that. But now, 3 rooms and parlor is 6 million naira. Okay, now let me narrow it down to your friend, your the POS girl that her boss pays 25,000 naira. Imagine somebody like that. Like, she can only dream of living in an
An
apartment like
apartment like
that.
that.
Like, because if she wants to try it, like, do you know
She
how
will have
many
to she'll
years?
have to
Do you
forfeit
know,
eating for years to be
for
able to
years?
afford the
And
apartment.
that's not possible because she's going to die. And there are like other things that she needs to sustain herself that she needs money for. So it is not possible. So
Yeah.
I think government should really crack down on these excesses by agents. I think employers should make provisions for their
And their
staff.
employees for their staff, yeah.
They should try and make like staff quarters that should like ease the burden of house rent for some of their staff that cannot afford it.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like in cases where employers cannot meet that kind of demand, then they should increase the salary of their staff. I think that is very important because aside from the fact that some employers pay their staff like what's the word to use, peanuts. House rent is very expensive and they still get to go to work every single day. Like in our last podcast we were talking about workers day and how they can actually regulate their work schedule, maybe work from home or something. If they can actually do that so that some staffs can work from home instead of going through the stress of paying for transportation. And then because if you look at your salary, half of your salary you spend it on transportation, the remaining quarter for feeding, and then the remaining one you still have to save for your rent that's coming up maybe in the next few months. So if they could actually increase the salaries of their workers, I think that would really be okay because it's very hard to see an employer who is barely striving in his business providing accommodation for staffs. I'm not saying it's bad to do that. I'm just saying if you can do it, you do it. If you can't do it, then add it up to their salary. That's my point.
I also think that NGOs too have a role to play, giving grants to people, to get, houses. NGOs do philanthropic works like that all the time. They can just give out to grants to one, or maybe some of their workers or just those vulnerable people and give them grants for homes and all of that. And also, speaking of expensive house rent and everything, do you think location is a factor as well? Because in places like Ibadan, Ogun, some northern sides, there are cheap rents. Like there are still houses like let's say a self-con of 100 and something thousand, 200 and something thousand. So do you think location is a
Yeah, it does. Because the last time I traveled to Port Harcourt, there's an apartment where somebody I know is living in, and it's like a 2 bedroom apartment. And the rent is like, I think about 400 and something K for a year. But here in Lagos, 400 and something K cannot even afford a room self-con. A self-con, yeah. You can't even afford. By the time you pay 400K to your agents, like you just have to go and hustle again to pay for the apartment. So I think location matters a lot. Because there are some places like Ibadan that you mentioned, they can't pay the amount of rent that people in Lagos or in Abuja pay. So you can't even compare it. So location matters a lot.
So as much as I would like to agree that location matters, for real, location matters. But if you go to those locations, like the Ibadan, the places you mentioned, if you go there, you still realize that rents are not the way it used to be for
They are
them.
still
so
expensive
So
in
yeah, they're
yeah for
still
them. Yeah,
especially for the
exactly.
expensive.
people in that
Like, and yes,
vicinity,
and
yeah.
they've doubled like in price. Do you get? So if you go there, you still hear the people there, they will still complain, and then the economy is just bad for everybody. So you still see people there still complaining that they cannot afford the rent.
Yeah.
Do you get? So
Yeah. That's the situation of things in Nigeria. So please, if you could Drop in the comment section below what you think the government can do or what we can do to combat the rising rents going on in Nigeria. So thank you for coming to our podcast today. It's a very brief one, and we hope to see you on our next episode. As you already know, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Also, follow us on all our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Force Daily, and on Facebook at Force Daily Media. Thank you for watching. Bye.